So, good morning, everyone. My name is Anders Ynnerman, a professor from Linköping University, and also the future director of WASP from the 1st of July next year, and I have the honor of being your host for this exciting conference today. Before we start, I have a few messages here that are of uttermost importance. Emergency exits. I'm doing the flight attendant thing here. We have emergency exits over there. And in any case of emergency, there's a relocation point outside of the entrance by the fountain. There also is, in any case of a heart failure, there's a heart starter down in the reception. And when we turn on the fasten seatbelt sign right up there, you fasten your seatbelts, and I only want to hear one click. That was a joke. Now you're supposed to laugh at that. Okay. Right. Okay. So it's a great honor to be here, and amazing that so many of WASP people and WASP friends wanted to come and join in on this first WASP4ALL seminar that we're hosting here today. I thought I'd catch the opportunity to just say a few words about WASP as a program, and many of you are familiar with the program in itself. And we're very proud to be a part of the largest ever research program in the history of Swedish research. And as you can see, the budget for the program is a moving target. It keeps increasing. And it's an amazing figure that we have. We just have an extension in terms of time as well, and up to 2026. Now, of course, the reason why we have this program is that we have presented the funding agencies to participating industries with a very important and interesting vision. And the vision is, of course, to provide excellent research in some very strategic application areas and theoretical areas in a thematic research program that we have put together. And this is, of course, the vision for WASP to do all that. And the mission statement is to build this platform consisting of a number of different initiatives, both the vision and the mission, for relevance for Swedish industry, to make sure that the Swedish research community and also industry is very competitive on the international arena that's moving very, very rapidly forwards. So to fulfill the vision and the mission, we have put together a number of instruments, and you may all be familiar with these instruments. First of all, we have the research program in itself, addressing all of these strategic challenges that we have identified. We're working a lot with recruitment, and I will show you a few numbers about the latest numbers of recruitments from WASP, a unique setup in terms of attracting competence to Sweden. There's a graduate school in close interaction with industry. And the ambition is to have more than 100 industrial PhDs in this program. A very comprehensive internationalization program, working together with the best universities in the world in our research domains. And of course, we also have the arenas for research and demonstrations, and some of them are up and running at full speed, and we're currently replanning some of them. But where are we now? I just wanted to give you a little bit of a brief update on these instruments, what has happened in terms of WASP. Now, if you look at the recruitment side, you can see that we have attracted 7 full professors in the AS part of WASP. And they're all in place, working now with comprehensive packages. Very proud of the fact that we have managed to do some very top-level recruitment of senior professors in artificial intelligence, the Wallenberg chairs in AI. 10 of those are in place already. At the tier below that, 13 professors at the assistant professorship level have been recruited as well in AI MLX. And they're also in place, so we're moving very, very rapidly ahead in this. The number of PhD students is 238 admitted students since the start, and we're counting. So this is a very comprehensive effort in terms of graduate student recruitment and education. 40 companies engaged in WASP, and also increasing there, the number of companies, and that could be involvement in the research arenas, could be involvement in industrial PhD projects, in collaboration projects in one way or another. And of course, this is very much in line with the vision and the mission of the whole program. The research arenas are in full operation, the public safety arena being the primary example of that. But we're also in the process of rethinking a little bit about the research arena concept to maybe widen and broaden the concept to be more inclusive in terms of what kind of instruments we're working with and also what kind of projects we're operating inside of the WARA arenas. We have developed a couple of new research instruments, and we're sort of experimenting as we're going along. The expeditions is one of those instruments. We also have the collaboration projects in AI, and a couple of new initiatives with twinning of postdocs, and some of you may have heard of the twinning between NTU and Singapore, and Swedish postdocs working together on 12 of those projects are up and running at this point. We're also trying to take care of the PhD students when they graduate, so there are a number of new initiatives to actually take care and make sure that you can progress in your career after you have graduated from the WASP program, ranging from postdoc opportunities at our partners and also working with some of these very international sites here. We have Stanford, we have Berkeley, we have MIT and NTU. Those collaborations are progressing along. So here are the programs. The postdoc program, industrial network program, and also the WALP program for taking care of innovations and new ideas coming out of these research programs in themselves. We're also very proud of the fact that we have a new initiative, the sister program, the WASP-HS, to really look into the details of morals and ethics in terms of in particular, artificial intelligence. And even though it's a separate program, it's very closely related to the core WASP activities as well. So just a little bragging update on what's happening inside of the program today. Now, if we look at things that are happening nearby, we are looking at things like we have a couple of calls. It's a very, very short deadline here. Now, November 22nd is the deadline for affiliation. We have a call out for affiliated doctoral students. And also, in January, we will also announce the next generation of industrial doctoral students program. So there's an opportunity. There will be a number of information activities in conjunction with this. We will have a webinar talking about the possibilities to engage in the industrial PhD program as well. So returning a little bit to the topic of today, why are we sitting here today? And let me go back and look a little bit about the reasoning behind sort of the DNA of the whole effort that we're working in is in some sense data and computation. We realized very quickly when we looked at the need for computational efforts that there is a huge thing happening in the world right now, and that is of course driven primarily by the need for machine learning resources in the world. And new computer centers are popping up on a weekly basis all over the world, targeting the use of machine learning and the sort of the scalability that's needed in terms of taking care of that. And also, of course, driven by the availability of data. So this was really the background why we started looking at what is the needs in terms of the WASP research program for computational resources and data handling. And you can see that already today we have identified there's an extensive use of some of the resources with extreme storage and computational needs. And the last item you see up here is the actual use that we have today. Quite a few of the WASP research projects are using the Ericsson resource, the Ericsson's data center resources. And there's some really interesting figures in terms of the actual WASP usage of that particular resource as we have it today. Now, with this background, the need for computational resources, last year I had the privilege to chair a committee that looked into the needs for resources and the potential of building up an infrastructure for artificial intelligence computations in Sweden. And it resulted in a report. It was an interesting work. We looked at a number of different use scenarios, and I really recommend, if you haven't had a chance to look at this report, it contains some really interesting information, both about usage patterns, predictions for the future, the state of the art in Sweden, etc., etc. And the recommendation from this report is really to invest in AI infrastructure. And we also have a grant of 70 million Swedish kronor that is allocated through the Swedish National Infrastructure for Computing, and we will get a presentation this afternoon in particular about the landscape of SNIC and where this artificial intelligence resource belongs inside of that landscape. Now, this is of course the reason why, when we started thinking about the WASP4ALL meeting, what could be a potential common interest for so many different people coming from different backgrounds doing different kinds of research. And we said, maybe looking at the future of computing and seeing what kind of computing platforms can we expect from the development and infrastructure, the needs driven, but also the amazing development in both in terms of hardware and software that's going on. So we decided to put together a program for a full day. You already seen the program, and it contains some really interesting presentations about the foundations of computation, going down to the low level in terms of hardware, in terms of software, but also then migrating across towards applications and eventually looking at some other effects of how we are affecting society around us in the afternoon sessions. And then we're finishing off in the afternoon with an extreme seminar looking into the future, the spectacular future of quantum computing. So we're getting the full range of what's happening today at the low level, what are the usage patterns, and what is the future holding for us. And I'm very, very pleased to see that so many of you have made it here today for this interesting seminar.